Hello and welcome to a Dominion World Cup group stage match between saltroza of Team UK and Fabyy representing Germany B team. Um, this is the second round of matches. In the first round, we played Canada B and Germany B played against Japan A, who are very strong. So, what do we have here? There is rats, sewers, which is quite nice. For thinning, otherwise we have mint. Um, Draw is a city quarter, kind of vault. Limited gains is what I'm saying, unless city activates. So maybe mint will be okay to mint some platina and maybe go for colonies. Not sure what the open is. I think rat sewers is pretty defensible. And then maybe at some point you credit for you can't credit for platinum, but you can credit for something else. Maybe gold. It's quite an awkward one. So how does rats sewers work? So you play a rat, gain a rat, and then you trash a non-rat card. And then if you have another rat in your hand, then you can trash that rat. So potentially is quite risky in terms of ending up with too many rats. But yeah, I mean, as the only other trashing, it does make me think rats is probably okay here. I definitely like sewers if you're gonna go rats. I'm running for Salt Rosa about like credit mint, maybe, which would trash everything, all of these cards. The the problem after that would be how do you get any actual money in your deck? So maybe that would have been um, a bit too much thinning. Fabyy managed to trash 2 estates, turn 3, which is pretty nice. And on 4, I can see Gondola. I am wondering about um, crediting for mint. It seems like it could be quite a big pacing boost, especially once you already have a silver. You can mint a couple more silvers. That's not too much of a problem to add more payload. Just goes for the gondola, which seems okay. Gondola nice in terms of buying mint because it avoids the trashing effect, unlike silver, because it's mint says non-duration. Fabyy going for a big trash. And what does saltroza want here? Vault. Yeah, I quite like Vault. Um, I think you should definitely trash this rats. Yeah. I can see Vault as well for Fabyy. Maybe they don't want to collide it with Mint, which is quite likely, so could take a city or a city quarter. Although I'm not necessarily seeing this deck having a lot of actions, or at least like not a high action density, so I'm not sure about city quarter. Could be a highway as well. Although it's basically just a peddler when you're only buying one card per turn. One highway does let you credit for platinum though, which could be relevant. Yeah, I think I do like highway for that reason. Fabyy already has the mint in deck. If they can add a platinum, they can just start minting that. Yeah, trash the rats as well. Nice. Now saltroza could consider a mint. I'm not sure if it's going to get much better than a 3 copper mint at this point. Yeah, seems reasonable. I wonder if you play the rats. I think you want to be wary of playing rats when you're not going to trash another rats with sewers. So yeah, I don't think that last card for saltroza is rats. So I would probably just play the vault. I could be wrong. Mint and Gondola is a fun plus action thing. Although ultimately I don't think we want a deck full of gondolas because while that's quite good at hitting province, it's not very good at hitting colony. So yeah, I think I'm still sold on the highway plan. I do feel like Fabyy is slightly ahead. I think they had a slightly better second shuffle, and the early mint was potentially quite helpful as well. Highway here, potentially. Could just be gold. Because you can probably get up to 9 at some point anyway. That's a nice city core to draw for saltroza. Really nice. Yeah, I guess city quarter is pretty good with having a few rats in the way. They're kind of not really in the way if you have city quarters. Guess we're minting Gondola. Which, yeah, I'm really not sold on. I don't think you want a deck full of silvers. So we can hit... What are we hitting here? We could have hit platinum if we discarded mint, which I would definitely be in favour of. I must have said the word platinum about 20 times already. Yeah, I think City Quarter is good in that position. I would have liked to get platinum in first, and then we can use our mint gains on platinum and then buying City Quarters. Again, pretty nice draw for saltroza. And now Fabyy could hit 9 if they want, which they do. And saltroza hitting 10 and gets their next turn a gondola, which is pretty nice. And I can see the plan now being click on colony if you hit 11. Otherwise, click on City Quarter. Yeah, I could see a second vault. Saltroza probably wishing she'd played vault last turn with this hand. Should have trashed a rat, but not a massive deal. I would like a colony. Not sure why we're minting before the City Quarter, yeah. Yeah, the issue with the rats pilot is you lose your whole deck, which is yeah, not great. I'm not sure why we wouldn't just mint platinum and draw it, but there's definitely some thought. I don't know that we needed to trash the gondolas. We could have just had them for next turn. There's more city quarter down there. You could definitely leave it, or you could draw on. But yeah, I think leaving it is fine. Does mean you have to play your gondola now, but that's okay. Oof. I guess you trash platinum here. It kind of hurts though. And probably trash rats. Um, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's more money down there, is there? So, oh, got the one from Vault, which I forgot about. We get to mint platinum. We could get rid of a couple of these silvers. I would keep the gondolas, as I said before. I think, yeah, if you mint platinum, trash your two silvers. Um, play two gondolas for next turn. Yeah, well, platinum could pile soon, and rats could, in theory, pile. But it's a lot of work. Um, I feel like, well, this is a pretty bad dud so far for saltroza. Although they obviously have the chance of vaulting. I would discard platinum colony. I think. I just want to have to not discard actions. hoping to draw a city quarter. But yeah, I guess you could discard like Rat's Colony. I think you definitely discard as saltroza. They have 4 platina, I think, and 3 city quarters. So yeah. Yeah, I think you can always play Rats and Trash Mint at this point as well. Which just going for province. Not completely unreasonable. Although I do think we don't need the mint anymore. I guess saltroza's deck is probably more consistent in terms of sustaining greening through provinces. So it probably does make sense to not offer the draw. Yeah, I think I like that. I don't know what those bottom 2 cards are. There's a vault there. Do we stop here? The only benefit to triggering would be to play some like a gondola for next turn. But I don't think that's worth it, given that we have 3 city quarters here. What do we take here? I feel like we have to take some green. So probably Duchy. Vault. The issue with not greening is if Fabyy colony is here, then you can't take the colony back to tie because you're player 1. And they do get to 11. So definitely colony here. And then saltroza has the province and hope that Fabyy misses province. Which is possible. But not super likely. Especially with Vault. So saltroza does get the next turn a gondola. And Fabyy's hand is not looking too hot. But still a few outs. No. So, wow, big win for saltroza. I'm not sure that extra vault helped, but yeah, one of those ones. So 1-0 to saltroza. 1-0 to Team UK. Go Team UK. Yeah, I know when the extra vault happened. I was talking about, like, I don't know if buying that vault instead of a duchy made any difference. I can't remember if we got back around to it. But yeah, very, very awkward board. I think it was well played. I think I definitely underestimated the city quarters at the start. What do we have here? We have probably a megaturn here, looking with Inventor, Throne Room. We have Captain and Throne Room as Village. We have Sea Trade and Moneylender for trashing. And Squirrel is pretty good draw. Not sure what you open here on the 2/5. I would say Snake Witch on the 2 with the aim to at least squirrel it. I could potentially see Snake Witch as well on the 3/4. But I'm not sure what the other buy is. Maybe Snake Witch Inventor for both. Galleria is okay. I guess if you collide Snake Witch Galleria, you can maybe Sea Trade, or hit Captain. Yeah, probably Galleria to hit Captain is quite a nice plan. But I do also like Inventors here. The idea for me behind Inventor is I want to get enough actions in play that I can then Sea Trade a lot of my deck away. Moneylender, it's okay. It's kind of a silver, so it doesn't hit 6 that often. And yeah, I feel like I would be leaning towards Sea Trade for my trashing rather than Moneylender. Yeah, Inventor doesn't help Captain straight away, but it does help Sea Trade, I think. Um, Not a great turn, but it does mean that we're going to hit Captain. So saltroza went Snake Witch, Moneylender. Um, yeah, it's an interesting question around that Snake Witch Squirrel from saltroza. They're not going to hit 6, but the extra card of cycling is quite helpful. The upside to playing Snake Witch normally would be to draw Moneylender and then you would hit 6, but not very likely. But Fabyy 2 captains already. I guess you play it as Inventor. You could play it as something as Squirrel. I could see that as well. But I would like to get maybe a Throne Room in deck. Ooh. The 1 card Sea Trade, I don't know. It's okay. I guess it triggers a pretty decent shuffle. So you could play Throne Moneylender and then activate Snake Wedge if you want to give out the curse. Yeah, I do think Snake Witch in deck is quite nice, to be fair. This is going to be a question about the like duration rules. I think if you thrown a captain with a captain, it doesn't work because the throne room is not in play. So there's nothing tracking the second play of the captain. Yeah, I think Fabyy has it correct. Probably it would say in the log. I think it says it on the turn you play it. It would say like a future something something. Although maybe that only happens with certain interactions. But I've definitely seen a message in the log before when it talks about a future play. Yeah, yeah. Copy of captain will stop functioning after this turn. So that's referring to the second captain. Um, I could have definitely seen a C trade there. Captain seems okay, but I think yeah, I think once you're lining up all your actions, you can quite easily inventor for a bunch of captains. So the more pressing thing for me is to get rid of all the junk, which is making it hard to draw. But yeah, we could have trashed 4, I think, with that C trade. In any case, I feel like Fabyy is quite a long way ahead here. This could be double inventor maybe, and then double squirrel the snake witch. I don't think I would be worrying about plus buy. I think I would just gain all the inventors. I guess you could take some, but yeah, not on my immediate to do list. So, what do you play as Fabi? 2 inventors. Captain played throne room. Don't you have too many throne rooms? I guess you can squirrel some of them. But I was definitely looking at playing a bunch of inventors double playing moneylender and then C trading everything. Could still be a C trade. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I really don't like that captain over C trade there. If you C trade, then you can gain and play captains. I think this might be my favorite event from Rising Sun. It's very satisfying to, yeah, get to like line up a bunch of actions and then trash loads at once. But yeah, in any case, game is pretty over. Probably piles this turn quite easily. Yeah. Um, I'm assuming they've seen it. Yeah. The province spooked me a bit, but no, nicely played. C trade now. Yeah, very very explosive kingdom that one. Definitely play one advantage, but also had a nice second shuffle. So 1-1. We have sewers again. Is there any other trashing? Rogue, kind of. Idle, maybe. Oh yeah, mine. I didn't see mine. Pretty bad with panic, but it would help get rid of your estates. Although displays can do that as well. Do we go for potion here? It's the like normal draw, I guess. You can do caravans as well with ball. Or you can try and do first mate stuff with displays. I still don't think this board is weak enough for Marauder. I think the first mate display stuff looks like the most fun, but it's quite hard to set up. Trashing is bad until panic activates, but it's not, yeah, not non-existent. We do have a potion. Fabyy does go to Marauder, so we'll get to see the matchup. On 6, I suppose we displace a saltroza. Unfortunately, missing Alchemist, which is quite sad, but always a risk. Yeah, I think Tea House could make sense here for Fabyy. Displace also pretty reasonable. I think I would go for displace, even though there's the small chance of collision. Goes for mine, so I suppose we're gonna see the mine sewers thing. Saltroza as well. Do you bother taking the silver out of exile now? Mine isn't crazy here. I think it's probably early for it. Yeah, I'm not completely sold, but it is a very awkward board. You can mine your silvers into golds for displaced targets. We're going for idle as well. Yeah, it seems like the players have some sort of agreement to avoid Tea House, so they get to keep all their treasures. I don't think we want too many silvers. Yeah. Which one's moon? You can put a card on top. I guess you don't put Marauder on top because you know you have mine down there. But yeah, Caravan seems pretty good. On 8, what do we see? Yeah, I think this place is going to be okay. tea house now. Or ball for caravans. Caravans could be a pretty good target for first mate as well. It would be nice if ball worked like stonemason and we could gain 2 alchemists, but alas. Yeah, I think taking ball for caravan over alchemist kind of suggests that the potion was not a good open. Because if you hit 3 potion, you could have hit 5 if it had been a silver, and then balled off of that. I was quite happy with displacing Marauder. I think you've kind of forced them into mine for thinning, and it is getting in the way, in my opinion, with the limited terminal space. Although they do have now a first mate, so potentially some village. Tea house, yeah. I think we definitely take silver to gold rather than copper to silver. Silver to idle, potentially. I don't know. Like idle's good if you're cursing with it. It's not so good if it's by itself. Which, yeah, is I don't think you're going to be playing idols that much, especially with panic activating soon. And then, yeah, the gold to me is not so we can play the gold, but it's a displaced target. Yeah, there. I'm not sure why we're doing copper to silver. Given the panic is coming as well. But first mate now for saltroza. You definitely take that. Yeah, more first mate's okay. I was thinking maybe second displays. Probably silver to first mate here. Tea house instead. Tea house is fine. Yeah, more first mate I do like. Gets the line up immediately as well. Super nice. It's not going to be drawing, but at least it's village. It's not going to draw with the 3 caravans coming. So I guess you play Alchemists first. Do we have a third tea house to potentially get better than Necropolis? Possibly not. We just played all of the money. Potentially wanted to hold a silver to displace. But I can see just getting rid of everything. Were you contemplating survivors? Wasn't sure what the decision point was there. So maybe mine silver to gold and displace the gold, or could displace a silver. I mean, either way, you mine silver to gold, and then I guess you can hold the gold for later, or you can displace it. I'm a bit confused by that order. If we wanted to discard the silver from exile, we could have displaced first and then got both silvers out of exile. And if we didn't want to discard silver from exile, then I'm glad my tea heist is catching on. I hope that was specifically directed for me. Yeah, I would have liked to keep a gold. Like, we have 3 extra. We've bought a vassal, but we could just have a gold. You probably still play tea house, even though you know you're gonna draw the extra displays. Not 100% on that, because I don't really know what your displays target is this turn. Idle to gold. Displaced to gold. Displaced to duchy is interesting. There's no win here, unless I'm missing something. What do we have more of down there? I guess more caravans. We get a village. We can draw with first mate if we first mate mine, which I think I would do. Turn potion into gold. We get to sewers the copper as well to draw 1 extra. I can see that argument that you'd rather top deck Alchemist than have 2 coins for this turn. In any case, I think we definitely wanted to first mate the mine for draw. These vassals are slightly surprising to me as well. They don't seem to be benefiting the deck that much. So displace gold to province. Definitely. And then yeah, it would have been nicer if we'd had a potion. Then we could take province and then top deck the Alchemists. I'm not sure we need to be buying coppers. I guess it's plus buy. Unfortunate to draw both of them on top already. Oh, I wouldn't have played the gold there. Unless there's a win, which I still think there isn't. Fabyy would probably benefit from getting their displays out of exile. Oh, there is a win. Nice game. Yeah, the Marauder might have been actually good there. I can concede that. I think the main issue there was the Alchemist was not very good. Obviously unlucky to miss 3 potion to an extent. We have Squirrel again. And we can... Oh, there's like replace hostelry stuff as well, which is pretty strong. Sentry is quite strong. Fairground and loot is nice as well. I think we... Do we open Cathedral? I think we probably do open Cathedral. Yeah, cargo ship I think as well. Seems good. First 5 is definitely a question. For me, I think I would go replace. Yeah, we might see the squirrel sword interaction, which could be quite brutal. It would be nice if we could keep some like hostelry horses and use the horses as squirrel. That way we get to keep them in deck. But definitely long think here for Fabyy. It always feels scary to me, at least, to click on Cathedral. But the pacing advantage is usually worth it. Even if like later in the game you have to trash a card that you don't want to trash. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, we're not actually going to have estates to trash with replace. Well, we'll have this last one. I definitely like replace there, and then hostelry, and then we can replace the horses potentially. I mean, we definitely don't need sentry. It's too early for pickaxe. Hostelry, I can see that. Which one do we put on the cargo ship? I went for hostelry. Squirrel and take cargo ship. What Solra has been up to? Yeah, I went for the same open. Turn 3, no cargo ship. Bought the second one. Turn 4, gain 1 hostelry horse. I don't think I like the cargo ship as Squirrel. If you play it normally, you get to keep 2 extra coppers and gain 2 extra horses. So, like, unless there's a reason that you would want 2 of them in your shuffle here. I think this is too many hostelries at this point, and not really anything to do with all the horses that we're getting. Yeah, I would definitely like to be pickaxing them or replacing them or something like that. Hostelry is kind of draw. It's more like filtering. And then long term, we're gonna have trashed all our coppers. So yeah, like it's definitely the village, but I do think we want actual draw from nobles at some point. And at this point, we kind of need some payload. Yeah, pickaxe. I quite like. What's this decision point? What are we waiting on? Oh yeah, cargo ship. I think you definitely put it in there. Saltroza I didn't notice got pickaxe last turn, so that's pretty nice. They'll get to pickaxe a horse, and set up at least 1 squirrel. what is it? Sextant. At least that's plus buy. I think a big horse story is quite nice here. Maybe sleigh to go with it. I don't hate a sleigh. I think you take a free one. We're not trashing a horse. I'd much rather be trashing a horse than a cargo ship. No plus buy is a bit sad. I would be considering hostelry there. Yeah. I guess you slay and then play a horse. Although I don't know what that bomb card is, to be fair. Decided to leave it on top. I guess we'll find out with Sexton what it was. So actually we don't need to... Youch. Jesus. Yeah, that's... I'd be very tempted to resign here as Fabyy. That's tough. At least we have draw from figurehead. Best loot. Yeah, copper was on top. So, do we take hostelry second pickaxe maybe? Oh, what's horse on top? Oh yeah, I was looking at the discards of copper from Fabyy's action. What did we get? Hostelry, wishing well, slay. That's a bit of a surprise to me. I would much rather pickaxe than wishing well, slay. I feel like wishing well in particular is difficult to do anything with. I guess we can trash it, but yeah, we don't have like a deck full of one thing particularly. I guess we wish for copper. Oh, horse. Nice. Pickaxe on bottom, which I think we want to draw. So we could play cargo ship, slay, set aside one horse on cargo ship, and draw up. Yeah, 2 squirrels and a pickaxe. Yeah, we probably could cargo ship a copper. Um, I don't know. I wouldn't. I don't think I'm too worried about having to potentially trash a horse, but I can see the appeal. So 12 could be, yeah, hostelry, nobles, more slay. It seems like a lot of slay. I think we're kind of low on terminal space in terms of if we're trying to squirrel a bunch of stuff. Having excess slays is not helping. Yeah, the good thing about slay is it gains you horses, which you can pickaxe. Otherwise, yeah, it's not helping too much. So you definitely don't need many slays. Definitely don't need as many slays as these players have. Saltroza did find copper on top, which is nice. I can definitely see the appeal of buying copper this turn because we're going to have so many horses on top. Insignia. We can insignia a copper on top. Um, I would like, yeah, copper, two nobles. I'm not sure what else. The powers aren't too low yet, so I think we can be taking nobles. Two nobles silver, two nobles well. No, it's quite difficult to count fairground points when there's loots. That seems like a very early province. And well, I say very early in that I wasn't expecting any of them to be bought this game. Yeah, because of fairground. So saltroza has insignia, staff, sword, sextant, and then pickaxe, hostelry, nobles, well, slay. You presumably have horse in deck as well. Copper. I lost count. But yeah, I think it's not province yet, but it will be. Quite easily. So Fabyy has puzzle box now. They just need to find shield, and then they can go back to squirreling. Staff is quite helpful to play an extra slay. The one thing that annoys me about slay is that you get prompted for like every single horse. when you're playing slays with more slays in hand, which I acknowledge is quite a difficult autoplay to set up, but it definitely deters me. I assume we keep doing the copper thing. And then triple nobles is probably too aggressive. Yeah, replace seems good. Fairgrounds seems good. I definitely wanted more pickaxe earlier. I think 3 nobles is unlikely to lose, but it's possible. I really don't like this province. I think the second province is even worse than the first, because at least the first one is a unique. But more pickaxe seems good. Copper on top, decent. I still think saltroza could have set herself up better to win next turn, but probably still could. I think two pickaxes, plus all the money they had before. Feels like you can take 3 nobles, 2 slays without counting it. Hammer is pretty nice. I guess you hammer for well. And then probably need to take a fairgrounds. How many points was that? 4, I think. And then well replace, I would say. More fairgrounds. More copper. Yeah. Yeah, I like to replace well there. So already 6 loots in hand, which is the nobles, and then yeah, not much more money to get the yeah. This is definitely here. I think even getting a rubbish loot like Chalice would be winning. I think 2 Chalices we'd still have plus buy to take estates and slays. Not too sure. My brain is refusing to actually count stuff. Not sure whether we had to play sword there. GG. Back to 2-all. Yeah, sword is so crazy. We have a lot of thinning. Interesting. I feel like I'm like one of the kingdoms I'm the worst at is chapel kingdoms. So I don't know whether you should take chapel or cathedral here. I would lean cathedral, but I wouldn't be confident. Getting some conflicting opinions in the chat. First mate is good with Cath as well for draw. Otherwise, we'd be drawing with Hireling, which I don't like. Yeah, Cathedral Messenger. What would you messenger? Blessed? Payload doesn't have to be treasures. We can definitely play an action payload here. But then it would green pretty badly. I was just thinking about the flag thing. I'm pretty sure you gain the flag first, and then your opponent would take it off you. I definitely don't like raise. I think Cathedral is just a lot better. I can see Messenger. I would probably be tempted to Messenger Blessed. I wonder if the 4-3 could tempt Fabyy into a different direction. Messenger Chapel would be funny. After you've seen your opponent open Cathedral. Messenger Snowy. It's a bit of a nothing card here, Snowy. could potentially be a bit of a pain later. Although usually with stuff like throne room chains, the action limitation is not a problem because you're only playing one action at the start of the chain. But given saltroza now has messenger, now has a village in deck, I can see messenger for messengers or messenger for throne. Fabyy takes the flag. Interesting. Yeah, first mate is like it's okay as draw. I think potentially a fraction early in terms of adding more payload before you add the first mate. But yeah, it seems reasonable. I mean, it's going to draw 3, 4. Oh yeah, because we're trashing Cathedral. So could potentially hit 8. Is that true? I'm not sure we have enough. Well, it's very unlikely anyway. We do see messenger chapels. I forgot about the silver as well. So we had a decent chance at 8. Flag, probably raise to go with it. I don't know what I guess coin helps in situations such as that turn that just happened. So snowy first. I don't hate coin, but like raise seems pretty good. I think, at least to like get rid of the chapel because that looks a bit silly in the deck. We have 7. Kind of an awkward number. I can see, yeah, trashing 3 and messenger throne room. I quite like. What are we going for instead? Flag again, more coin. Seems like a lot of coin. And the flag is not helping that much with first mate. Like, obviously, it helps you find it. But assuming you do find first mate, it's not helping. So I don't think we need to be fighting over it this much. Fabyy messengering for not doing that. Just taking a flag, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't seem super necessary to me. I like trashing 1 and I'm going to suggest the same thing as last turn, which is messenger thrones, and then we can pick up a raise with the spare. just blessed and coin to go with it. Again, I don't think coin is like super necessary. It's fine. But yeah, raise seems okay at getting rid of the chapel, which you don't really want. I think trashing here is fine, and messenger for messengers and take a first mate. Why did we not trash the copper? I guess we're worried about cathedral. Fabyy here looking at 9, which could be messenger first mate. You can first mate. It's not. I think it's often not very good, but it's. I mean, it's possible. Saltroza could consider doing that, but they also have a coin on mat, so they could just first mate the messenger. I'm assuming as well that Saltroza probably trashes Snowy here. We have more coin, so I think even more of an excuse to trash Snowy. Don't discard, in my opinion. So we can first mate the flags, draw everything, and we don't need to chapel that. So we have 13, which could be messenger, throne room, first mate. That could actually be quite nice in terms of getting essentially a free gold if you can play a first mate at the start of turn. I think one more first mate seems good. Yeah, well, I mean, it's still like an unlucky dud, but would have been slightly less likely with an extra first mate. I'm feeling Saltroza is still ahead anyway. But yeah, this is definitely sad. $11, a bit of a weird number for Fabyy. You could take 2 4s and a 3. Not sure you really want the silver, but it's okay. You don't need more coin, particularly. So you could just take messenger for messengers and first mate or something like that. I wonder why we called coin. Presumably to try and hit a specific price point next turn. Not sure what that would be. Trash Chapel, surely. And how many of these do we play? I think we don't want to spend both coins. Could be like messenger something and buy a snowy. We don't need to take flag particularly because we have first mate down there, but I can see it as a possibility. I think that first mate is kind of a classic thing where when you dodge you add more draw, but this turn, because you've just added, you know that you've got draw coming up, so you can add more reliability next turn rather than this turn. But yeah, I'm sure I do that as well. And now Fabyy potentially ahead after that dud. I think they need more first mate for sure. I'm surprised that no one's taken any throne rooms. I guess you don't like desperate in any of the actions, but they still seem pretty good. Fabyy getting external help from the postman. So I guess we can start thinking about what saltroza will do. Do you trash the silver? I would probably be trashing the silver and then maybe playing first mate on first mate, because I think that I'm pretty sure there's a third one down there. So then we'll get to chain them and maybe save our coin on the mat. Chaining helps when you have three of them. So you can play this first mate, which plays the first mate, which plays the two flags. You draw back up, then you play another first mate. It's pretty awkward, but I'm pretty sure there's one down there. Definitely doesn't work as nice as playing like throne room on a throne room. I might use this break to have a drink as well. Interesting. I'm definitely I much prefer watching the stuff happen. I find the log slightly awkward to read. Um, although I guess saltroza has quite a lot of log experienced. Because she used to do the log parsing right for the stats. The only time that I would like to read the log is actually on TGG when I'm playing the bot, because their turns go by so fast. But then you can't even read the log. Piles are getting a bit spooky. So I feel like saltroza should be thinking about greening this turn. Um, they do first mate, which I do like. Second first mate, and it's kind of awkward actually. You still probably want to play the messengers, which means you're going to call your coin anyway. But that's okay. And we do draw deck. Yeah, don't bother playing the raise, in my opinion. And we have 16, which is quite a nice number. Maybe like messengers, province, throne room. Um, Still potentially leaves the estate pile, although I don't think Fabyy has enough buys for that. So they've got Snowy and they got 5 messengers. So yeah, they might have enough buys depending on where the piles are left. Still no throne rooms for anyone. But yeah, I think saltroza can take messenger for messengers and province and probably throne room to go with it. I could see blessed as well, or even flag. Given the current deck composition, flag also seems like quite reasonable because you can first mate flag. Um, Snowy, I don't really understand Snowy. It could potentially get in the way of trying to use coin as well. Discarding deck. I'm not sure whether that was correct. They did see a first mate go by on the raise. Also 16. So probably we'll follow with the province. I would like to see the messengers as well, and yeah, probably throne. I would say that throne is not adding as much benefit as it normally does in terms of actions because of the first mate. Um, but yeah, I would still definitely have some here. How much plus buy does saltroza have? Not enough for a win, I don't think. Nice starting hand for Fabyy. Yeah, I think trashing the snowy is pretty reasonable there. I would have been tempted to trash coin, but not that tempted. I wonder about raising coin, hoping to draw another flag bearer or messenger. Raising raise is okay as well. So I don't think I like necessarily the first mate here. We are slightly punished for it, I think. That's not a very useful boon. Buying copper as well. I don't think it's super necessary. I think you can play Snowy first here as Fabyy. You have enough actions for this turn. And you might draw... Actually, no, I think that's all their messengers. So they're not going to draw another messenger. Oh, I lied. They have 6 messengers. Crazy. I felt like I knew that at one point, and then I forgot it. Oh yeah, they did. They did messengers at the end of the messenger pile. Double province seems pretty good. I can see single province and like first mate throne room. Um, is double raise or silver raise better than first mate? Seems it could be close to. Very nice starting hand either way. So yeah, trash snowy. I think we don't first mate here. Yeah. It got us one extra card of draw, but then we didn't get to use it on the messengers. So it did ultimately cost some draw. Saltroza's deck is really not cooperating very well. I'm not sure whether that's unlucky or kind of expected. Nice to find a messenger there for Fabyy. Do we need this coin? I think I'd rather keep the raise and trash the coin. And I think we can definitely play Snowy now. But it seems reasonable to, given that we have the coin to use, we can play first mate now. Oh yeah, you can do in that order as well. Although, if you're going to call coin, play Snowy, then you could play first mate, then call coin. I think it probably doesn't matter too much either way. Doesn't matter what we pick up. And, oh, unless there's a win actually. Yeah, this is, it's enough buys, but it's not enough money. Yeah, pretty awkward position for Fabyy here, because you can single, but there's still like technically a threat of double from saltroza, and if you double, that's pretty dangerous. But this deck also doesn't want to have duchies in it. That is a good question. I assume so. Maybe not. Maybe they've trashed too much of their money. Yeah, I mean, they could always trash province and go for it if they think they have the money, but that would be quite a ballsy move. Province duchy then. They have, yeah, I think they just have, do they have 3 messengers or 4 messengers? They don't have any snowies. I think they have 4 messengers, so 5 buys. Wasn't there a first mate down there? I guess there were provinces down there as well. But yeah, I'm not sold on that. Deck discard. Yeah, they do call coin. I think Province Duchy is good. Like Fabyy is not super likely, although I guess no, because they can't trash any green, um, and still double because there won't be enough points. Is that true? No, they could trash Duchy, which I think you probably do, and go for double. Snowy first, hoping to draw another messenger. Yeah, I think as well. First mating raise was not correct, but I yeah hadn't even looked down at the dud for saltroza. Pretty brutal. So it seems like Fabyy is going to win this game. Yeah, I do feel like saltroza's shuffle luck has probably been worse than Fabby's in this game. Like Fabyy has had the raises to help with reliability, but saltroza had 4 first mates um, for a lot of this game and has consistently not been finding them, or has not consistently been finding them. That was a long one. So 3-2 to Fabyy. Hopefully we can have a win for saltroza to bring it back to a tie. We are over the 2 hour mark as well. Biding time Crossroads is really good. There is Cathedral again. Monkey is also a pretty good draw here. Um, yeah, I think I can see Cathedral skip. But I'm not entirely sure what I would open. Yeah, I don't really like Sentinel Silver here either. So yeah, maybe Cathedral. Cathedral Silver or Cathedral Search potentially. Yeah, long term I think Crossroads is a lot of the draw. um, with, I guess, one highwayman, maybe monkey. Although I'm not sure there's that many gains. Maybe depends on whether people go for bandit, which doesn't seem amazing. I do wonder about the scoring. Like, is this Duchy Duke because biding time allows for easier sustained greening, or is it provinces because biding time makes easier to keep buying provinces? I'm quite tempted by Duchy Duke here. We will want plus buys from Astrolabe at some point. I'm not sure if a pile will empty that early in terms of search. Um, yeah, there's T highs for payload. Bandit could be payload. These have been some really thinky kingdoms. I'm sure both players are pretty exhausted at the moment. Yeah, it's definitely true that if you want to skip trashing, you have to put the effort in to activate the prophecy, which could take a while. Yeah, I agree with Cathedral over Sentinel upon reflection, especially with biding time. Like, you're not gonna be struggling for things to trash particularly. It could be like a tiny bit awkward, but um, yeah, I think on the whole it's gonna be better. Um, why are we not trashing estates? Yeah, I mean, like Crossroads, sure, but that seems early to be banking on that. If you want the Crossroads draw later, you can, I guess, like rebuy estates. I think it would be quicker to trash them now and buy them back than to keep them. Although that is a nice turn. Um, what's that last card? Oh yeah. Monkey helps the Crossroad deck as well. What do we buy on 4? Silver? Astrolabe? We don't particularly have the terminal space for lots of search. And I don't see them activating imminently, but it's definitely a possibility. I guess if you go out of your way to pile something. Yeah, there's definitely a terminal problem in that, you can play one crossroad and then Curse Village is really bad because it's not going to be drawing that much. So yeah, you're buying Necropolis that comes with a hex for 5, which is a bit of a tough sell for me. So I think as terminals, I would like one terminal crossroad, so as in like 2 crossroads, probably Highwayman and Monkey. I like Tea House Crossroads or Tea House Search. Seems like a weird moment to be trashing Estate. Yeah, I think it's going to be active like end of her next turn for sure. Probably on this turn. Um, I'm not sure why you would play Sentinel here. You can just draw all of that and keep it in your hand. Because we could have just played Crossroads, drawn the bottom 3 cards instead of playing Sentinel and lining up the tea house. I would take a free estate. Search maybe better than a free estate. Yeah, this definitely seems like a game that Fabyy is going to win. I would undo one of the coppers and buy a tea house. Bandit definitely not crazy. It does draw your opponent cards from Monkey, but it could potentially hit Astrolabe, which would be reasonably nice. Yeah, I think it's good now for Fabyy. Yeah, more astrolabe seems pretty reasonable. Um, what do we buy here? I think one more Crossroads would be reasonably nice for Sora. Um, like you can always leave it in your hand and save it for later. Going for the province, not unreasonable. Yeah, getting and playing the gold, definitely good. Play both monkeys and then start counting your money. Only playing one monkey. Um, yeah. I'm not sure why we'd keep monkey in hand. Unless we want to play it next turn. So neither play going for Duchy Duke, it seems. Yeah, there's kind of nothing you can really do here as Soroza. You would love to pop searches, but that's just going to draw your opponent all of their cards. And then it's probably a win for Fabyy this turn. But yeah, not really anything you can do about that. Yeah, I mean, it's late for Sword anyway, but fortunately it doesn't hit biding time the same way that it did with the Squirrel stuff earlier. We have 4, 8, 9 buys. Yeah, this is game over. We don't need to play out Sword. I don't think, without counting all the money. Maybe we do. Search Monkey was 19 plus Dutchy was 24. So yeah, we didn't need to. Yeah, I do wonder about like the extra time that your opponent has to wait for you to count your money before deciding whether to play sword. Is that does that like counteract the fact that you then don't play sword? Not too clear. Anyway, well played, Fabyy. Unlucky saltroza. I thought they played well as well. Definitely some fun kingdoms, some really thinky, sloggy kingdoms. But yeah, 4-2 to Fabyy. So a good start for Germany B in this matchup. I am playing on Wednesday. I don't think anyone else is scheduled, to my knowledge. Yeah, thanks all for listening. See ya.